guys, welcome to our kind of homesteading. I usually don't say guys. That's fine. It's fine. You don't mind being called guys. I'm Sherry.
I'm Shauna.
And today we just wanted to chat about basically everything that you could have in your homestead, that
like how much you would need, how much space, how many animals per person.
Yes.
Because I think that's a question that gets asked a lot, and people aren't really sure, especially if they don't have a lot of space or they don't have a lot of funds. They want to try to keep it down as much as possible, animal wise.
Understandably.
Yeah, if you don't have this garden space, you need to know exactly like how much of everything do I need to feed my family for this year.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about today. So hopefully it's helpful. Homestead Logistics. Oh.
I like how you're like, Homestead Logistics. I'm reading it. I still don't. Oh, that's what the title could be.
Totally be a newswoman that would just read Ron Burgundy, just read off the screen.
Like, nobody
Shauna's very obedient. She's like, I'm reading a note.
My husband just holds up a little sticky note, and so I was just like, he obviously wanted me to read it, so I was reading it, and that's what it said, is Homestead Logistics. So that's obviously what he wanted us to say. As the title.
That's a good title.
It's a good
job. Probably should have powwowed.
Did we?
Did we? Okay. Well, we're like, today we're talking about.
No, I think you said that last week, and obviously we wouldn't remember this week.
Obviously. We don't have that good of memories.
Anyways, so
do you want to?
No, you go.
Okay.
No, please. By all means, madam.
So first off, chickens, since everyone loves chickens.
Yeah. They're easy to care for.
Yeah, super easy. And if that, it's chickens, if you're just starting out, they're a great first animal to start with. Like, that's what I recommend to everyone that's just starting
Absolutely. out. And if you're just starting out, you just a little thing here that a lot of people think, you don't need a rooster to have eggs.
I think it's super funny that some people think that, I guess they don't know, but I can't tell you how many times, they're like, oh, well, those hens are in an enclosure just on their own. Where's the rooster? Like, how do they have eggs? And I'm like, okay, so do you need to have a guy around you to have your period? Unfortunately not, like, believe me, that would be effing awesome, by the way.
We've talked about this before.
We have.
In one of our first, we were like, yeah.
And that's all it is. It's just that that's the chicken cycle, and that's what their egg is. Like, that's it.
They don't need no man.
They do not at all.
Yeah, so you don't need a rooster to have eggs. You do need a rooster to have baby chickens.
Right? Makes sense.
So,
just like you need a guy to have a baby.
Yep.
You need a rooster to have baby chickens.
You do.
But the hen is still going to give you eggs because that is her cycle.
So they will not be fertilized eggs.
Right. No fertilization.
A lot of people, they do like roosters because they do protect their flock.
If you have free-ranging hens. Yes.
They do a good job. They'll protect them. They'll help them find food. They can be very sweet. I saw a video yesterday. It was so freaking adorable. It was like raining, and there's this like hen and rooster. They're all huddled together, and it's just like raining on them. They're like Rhode Island Reds. Yeah. And then the hen like lays down, is all like, I'm just gonna be rained on. And the rooster lays down next to her, and then he puts his wing over her.
Oh my!
It was
what?
I know. I was just like. It was so sweet. Anyway, so the roosters, like, I've seen roosters, like, they like come flying out of their coop when there's a hawk and like fight a hawk. Like, they do a good job at protecting, but you definitely don't need them.
Yeah, you don't.
Unless you want to have your own baby
right,
chickens.
If you want your own babies, or they're just, we have so many roosters because our hens just have babies all the time and they sit hot, so they most of the time they're hatch roosters, unfortunately for us. Yay. So anyways, getting back to the logistics aspect, so you need about 2 to 3 chickens per person. Now, chickens, depending on the breed, every chicken lays a different egg count for the full year, and the 3 like top contenders for laying the most, so we're talking about 300 eggs a year, which is really good.
It's really good.
Are your white leghorns, your Americanas or Americanas, however you want to pronounce it,
and your Rhode Island Reds.
Rhode Island Reds.
Yeah, those are your top 3. But even like your Buff Orpingtons, some of the more common ones, the barred rocks.
Those still have dots.
The wine dots. They lay like 280, I think, 250 to 280. So they have a pretty good egg count, and they're a good egg size. So again, if you're just getting into chickens and you want like that, well, a lot of bang for your buck, I would stick with the Leghorns. They lay the white eggs,
and they're really big.
So they're not going to be like those brown eggs or anything.
Yeah, you're not going to have colors, but I mean, you're going to have eggs all effing year. So
you will.
That's great.
You will. Did you? I just found something out. I didn't know this before. So typically, the chicken's earlobe, like.
Yeah.
Okay, the color of their earlobe will basically be what
signify what color their eggs are.
Yeah, did you know that?
I did not know that.
Is that weird? Not always. There's some like
So like that's why the Americanas,
yeah, they have
like that green, blue.
Yeah, green, blue, and that'll be the color of their eggs.
Interesting.
If it's red, they have brown eggs.
Crazy. How weird. I did not know that.
I know.
Fun chicken facts. Right? That's really cool.
So chickens typically have like they'll lay pretty consistently and pretty well for about 6 years. I feel like after like 3 years, some breeds start kind of
fading out,
tapering off,
and they just don't like all of a sudden stop.
No.
I mean it's akin to a woman in her cycle as well, right?
Yeah, menopause.
Exactly.
Something to look forward to.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Kind of is, right? Not having a effing period. Like, thank you.
I don't have mine. I don't have a uterus.
Well, I know you don't. I do. It fucking sucks.
I still have my ovaries, though. I know TMI for most people, but so I still get all like the emotions, and I still feel like I'm on my period.
No, Shauna's she'll be like, "Are you in your period?" And I'm like, not yet. It's like a couple days or whatever. And she's like, "Okay, that's the reason. That's the reason."
Yeah, I was like, "I've been a huge bitch, and I need to justify this."
I need to justify. So there it is, everyone. Justification. Did you hear that, honey?
That's why. See? Yeah, because Sherry's the alpha, so I follow her lead on cycles. So, yeah. Yeah, Sherry's like, that's right.
She does speak the truth.
Anything else on chickens? Okay, so yeah, so
Besides
you need 2 to 3. Oh, and
and that's going to depend. So 2 to 3 a person, that's just your average. If you eat a ton of eggs and if your family eats a ton of eggs, then you're going to need more chickens per person, obviously. So that's just a basic guide, like a generality. So obviously use your best judgment based on your family's needs.
And if you are trying to sell eggs to compensate for like feed prices and stuff, you're obviously going to need
quite a bit more.
More chickens.
Yeah, so more chickens.
And if you're free ranging, you won't need to feed as much.
Yes, because they have all the insects and grasses and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you have the problem of them hiding their clutches, and they will start to do that, by the way. And then you have to just kind of reset them by locking them up in a run area with their coop for a good week or two for them to remember, oh, I should lay my eggs in here. Okay. And because they will start to just lay all over the place, and then your dogs get to them, and then you have 150 chickens and no eggs.
We're not saying this by experience.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah. Damn
dogs. I have so many eggs right now.
No, we have so many. We still get some from our free range chickens, but the girls that are always in the coop with the one rooster. I mean, we're getting at least, even right now in our winter months, we get about a dozen a day.
Yeah, we get plenty to where I actually have to I'm trying to figure out what to make with eggs.
I always am doing that. I'm like crepes again. I'm making crepes again because I always have so much milk and so much egg. I'm like, what can I make? Oh, crepes, great.
I do a lot of egg foo young.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love your recipe specifically.
Oh, it's so easy. It's just an omelet with soy sauce.
I don't know. I tried it and it definitely did not taste like what you had made.
Oh well, I add
Yeah, see, that's you're very annoying. Just FYI, okay? Like for many reasons. Honest, and I agree. She'll make this delicious food dish, and she gives it to you, and you're like, holy shit, this is delicious. Tell me your recipe because I'm gonna make this at home.
I don't know.
And she doesn't know. She's like, well, okay, so I put this in it, put this, and I'm like, okay, all right, that sounds about right. So I make it at home, and I'm tasting it, super looking forward to it, totally talking it up, by the way, to my husband and my kids, the teenagers, and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds great, Mom. And they taste it, they're just like, I mean, it's good. And I'm just like, you don't gotta lie. I taste it too, okay? It's shit. It's fine. And then I call her, and she's like, I did forget to tell you that I put this in it. and maybe I put a bit more of this in it. And I'm just like, fuck you. Okay?
Because I don't use measuring implements. Because
that's weird, by the way. It's weird.
Is it?
It's weird.
I think a lot of people, like, it's, it takes too much time. I don't have time for that shit. And I don't use...
Does it? You just...
And, like...
You just...
They're pre-measured.
I know. You take the half a cup thing and you pour in whatever you are pouring into that, and then you pour it into the bowl. How is that more time?
I don't know, because I like it never turns out how I want it to. Like, when I just am, like, eyeballing it, I know what I want it to be like. You know
I know, but then you can never replicate it.
No, I can never.
Even for herself. She's like, well, that was delicious. Last time I ever eating that.
And the other thing is, like, I'll make something and I'll be like, I'm going to make this because, like, you go to your pantry and you're like, what the fuck do I have for dinner? And you just kind of, like, throw stuff together that you have available,
right. No, yeah, for sure.
And, like, it'll be really good. And I'm, like, always mad that I didn't write it down because, like, I'm not remembering that in 2 weeks from now when people are like, or my kids or husband or whoever is like, I want that again. I'm like, okay. Like,
you're like, what?
And I'll try, and
it won't. Did I make that?
It won't be the same because I will forget something.
And see, if you started using measuring implements,
but that's not something I would measure. It's something that I'm just throwing together.
But let me finish.
Okay.
If you are using your measuring implements, you could write it down, and then voila, you can remember it.
Write it down. That's crazy.
Crazy talk.
I don't know
write
if I could.
I don't even know where to find a pen. So how can
I don't have any pens ever. Ever. Sherry had to give me she's at my house and she had to find a pen in her purse. Because I literally don't own a pen apparently.
You do. They're just all over the place, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, send me pens. So you know what the other thing I make with we're getting off on a tangent about cooking, but moussaka with the eggs.
Yes, and that uses just a ton of egg.
You know what I made the other day that was super
so
good?
Oh, my whole entire family loves moussaka.
Because I was like, I have a shit ton of eggs, and it was dinner time, but we make a lot of like breakfasty things for dinner.
Yeah. So do we.
I always have eggs and milk.
Yeah, exactly.
But I made like this. I started like thinking I was gonna make moussaka, but then I was like, I don't want moussaka. It's Serbian moussaka, by the way, so it's kind of different than if you like agree. It's not real Serbian moussaka. My husband wants to say that because I don't use meat. Apparently, Serbians, that's all they eat is they're carnivores. But I did that, and then I did the eggs, and then I sautéed like onions and garlic. And anytime you saute onions and garlic, it's gonna be good. It's gonna
be good. You can't go wrong. Good. Can't go wrong.
And but then I did like a bunch of other veggies, and it was basically like whatever I'd put in an omelet, like spinach and mushrooms and a bunch of stuff, and then the milk and eggs, and then I just did like my homemade goat cheese on top of it with some cherry tomatoes.
That was a thing you brought to
yeah.
It smelled so
you should have had some.
You wouldn't let me because you're a whore.
No,
you're like, this is for them. I'm like, we'll just eat it in the car. I think I have forks in here someplace.
No,
and you took it away.
You could have eaten it at like when everybody else was eating it.
We were leaving then.
Yeah, we did. But anyway, yeah, it was super good. You missed out. You missed out.
Thank you.
Delicious. So yeah, if you do have an abundance of eggs, there's some recipes. I don't have measurements for you, but you can figure it out. It was good.
Or you are not going to figure it out, and you're like, well, that fucking sucks.
I think most people know how things should taste. Flavors. Everything should have flavors to it.
Yes.
If you need, it
100%.
shouldn't taste like crap. Make it taste good. That's all. That's all you have to do.
Use all the spices.
Okay, so getting on past chickens, past eggs.
Yeah.
We're going on.
Speaking
moving
of
on
dairy.
So again, we have I have 2 milking doughs, but I have one that's basically like in milk. Like we just had bred her a few months ago, or not bred her, but she just had babies a few months ago. And then the other one, her milk supply is kind of dying out because she needs to be bred again. Because any animal that you plan to get that for dairy, you're going to have to breed about every 2 years. So plan that out in your head. Know that you're going to have the babies. I know we talked about this last time, but just have it like it's going to be facts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like their milk supply won't last forever no matter how much you milk them. So I have my one doe, and I get and she's a Nigerian dwarf, so they're a small breed of dairy goat. Mm-hmm. And I get about 1/4 gallon a day, which is plenty for us. And I can still make cheese, and it's plenty. We're not like...
Yeah.
None of my kids are like, I'm going to have a glass of milk every day. Like, that's... nobody
my
cares.
kids are really big
I know
milk
you
drinkers,
have big
and so
milk drinkers.
we have the 3 Nigerians. One is a like superstar producer, and then my other 2 are, I would call them just like kind of average. One maybe on the heavier side, and then we get like this morning I got a half a gallon, and when I go home tonight I'll get probably a quarter of a gallon.
Sherry milks, that's something to say though. Sherry milks twice a day. I milk once a day just because we're always gone in the evening and I hate milking at night because I don't have like a light down there or anything. And Sherry also has more family than I do.
Yes.
So we're just a family of 4. Sherry has a family of like 26, 28,
It's not true.
32.
She's like, it's going higher. It's definitely higher.
Sherry has she has 5 kids. I have 5 kids. She has 5 children, and then she lives on my parents' property.
Yes.
And so my parents are there, which they don't drink the milk at all.
No, they don't use it at
And
all
then,
anymore.
her eldest son has his girlfriend who lives on the property, and then they have about 15 dozen kids come in like every week. So she feeds them all the time. Like, they come there
And
to
you
eat.
know what's even funnier is that all those 15 dozen kids you're just talking about that aren't actually mine, they all love the goat milk. And they can't believe it's goat milk. And they are like, why is your milk in a jar? And this happened like last year, right?
City kids.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, you've seen me milking. I milk the goats up there. And they're like, so you make milk? Well, I don't make it. They make it. I just milk it. Yeah. And so they tried like the chocolate milk because
chocolate goat milk. If you
goat
haven't
milk,
had it,
there's
you're
nothing better.
like
You're missing out.
You're missing out.
You have to try it.
like
And goat milk ice cream, so good.
Chocolate
But
goat milk is so
they'll
good.
have the chocolate, like Lorenzo,
good.
like when he realizes they've never tried it, he's like, you have to have a glass of this with like chocolate in it. I'm going to make you some and you're never going back. And they, sure enough, and now whenever they come down to the house, which is every Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, I have like 10 extra kids in the house besides my own, and they're all like, can I have a cup of milk? Can I have a cup of milk? Can I have a cup of milk? I'm like,
She
hey,
literally has 10 kids on any given weekend day, and sometimes during the week, 10 extra kids beyond her own. It's just like, I love that, and I totally want to be that house, and I totally look forward to it. My husband looks forward to it as well. But like, it's just super cool, and like, yeah, it's just crazy. So she needs a lot of milk. That's my point. That's my point.
Honestly, I've been looking into getting another doe just because I don't even getting almost a gallon a day from
you can't
my
like make
girls,
cheese or anything extra.
I don't have any to make cheese because they drink it too fast. It's gone. And that's almost a gallon a day. Like, what the hell?
And like teenagers, it's like,
oh, you should see Lorenzo. He comes down, he'll have like an 8-in. They're huge cups of milk, and
you're
do
like,
it twice, 3 times a day.
which is like, you're so happy for them to drink it. Like whenever,
Oh my gosh, yes.
if anybody's gonna have a
Yes.
glass of milk, it's my son. And so whenever he's like, can I have a glass of milk? I'm always like, yes.
I know. I'm like, yes, you can.
Because it's like, it's healthy and
So
whatever.
healthy for
Like you
them.
just love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely, I could see you needing another doe. So again, that's our point when we're saying like these guidelines where
like
most
on average,
families of 4 would only need like 1 to 2 dairy goats, and that's your small breed of dairy goats. Now they have larger breeds which will give more milk. We do not like the flavor of any other milk. Like your Saanens give the most out of all of the dairy breeds.
Yes.
Your Saanens are like your powerhouse milker.
Yes.
If you want the most bang for
lots
your
of milk.
buck, again,
Yep.
like just like the Leghorns lay the most eggs, the
But
Saanens
you have to remember though that that Saanen milk is super goaty.
super goaty.
The Nubian milk has a super high butter fat. It's super creamy, but again, it's pretty goaty. Alpine milk, I don't even really like it. No offense to any Alpine owners. I love Alpines, but I just don't like their milk at all. My kids hated the Nubian milk, and I wish they hadn't.
I
because
didn't really like the Nubian milk.
I could never really. I mean, I had to fill that cup up with a lot of chocolate syrup to be able to drink it.
Right.
It was like
because we had Nubians growing up.
Yeah,
and that was like our milk, and I never really got into it as much as like the Nigerian milk. I can just drink it just plain. I don't need to add anything to it. It's just like, it's good.
The Nigerian dwarf goats, they have the closest tasting milk to what a cow's milk tastes like. And it's just freaking delicious. There's none of that goaty undercurrent. It's great. My kids love it. They now are completely accustomed to it. And I mean, even my 19-year-old who is uber picky, and I tried, I had to literally like trick him into tasting it. I told him that I got some fresh, some raw cow's milk from another farm. You want to try it before I like commit to like their contract and buying it. He's like, are you sure this isn't goat milk? I'm like, I promise it's not goat milk. And he's like, I'm like, smell it. It's not goat milk. He smells it. He's like, okay, drinks it. He's like, wow, it's pretty damn good. And I was like, it's goat milk.
Promise is broken.
And he's like, okay. He's like, it's pretty good. And I'm like, thank you. I am now buying Nigerians. That was years ago. Anyways, so if your kids don't like that goaty flavor, if you don't like it, then highly suggest the Nigerians if you don't want to go for a cow. Now, getting onto cows, if you do have a cow for milking purposes, they are going to give a incredible amount of milk. We're talking several gallons a day.
So most people, when they get a dairy, they get a Jersey because that's like your most common breed of dairy cow, and they give a lot. They give a lot of milk. Like some of them can give up to 6 gallons per day. 6 gallons.
So, I mean, you're looking at, unless you are incredibly high milk drinkers and you're using milk in a lot of recipes every day.
Well, and then you can make butter. Like it, it would be great.
It would be great.
I really want a cow.
You would
eventually.
Definitely need a separate fridge to hold all your milk.
Oh yeah, 100%. You need a separate fridge, and then you
things to think about, and then also you need to think about if you're leaning more towards a cow, how much space that cow needs on your land. I believe it's like the average is like a half acre for one cow, and then how much that cow is going to consume, how much money you're going to be spending on feed.
And you have to breed said cow every couple of years again
and
to
you're gonna have a baby cow.
You have a baby cow that they need to nurse for so long because it's cruel just to take their baby, so don't do that. But then they
well, it's unhealthy for that baby too, and if you're looking at eventually selling that baby, no one's going to want to buy some unhealthy little calf from you that was taken off their mom way too early and didn't grow out and stuff. So yeah, don't do that. Like, just let them nurse and they're fine. And you can also milk at the same time. Plenty of farms do that. They'll let the baby nurse, then take the mom out, put teat tape, whatever, or separate baby just for a couple hours or overnight, and then then you have milk. But
you can't do that right away. But yeah,
no, not right away.
Yeah,
we talked about that before though.
We have.
And the other thing to think about with a cow, to breed her so that she keeps on producing milk, you will need to have a bull, obviously.
Or artificial insemination.
Right, that's true. That costs money, though.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. So having a bull also would cost money. What you could do is if you have a friend that has a bull, they want to trade, come over, you can breed my bull to your cow, and you can give me.
This is why we don't have cows yet, because it's just the logistics of it is a lot more goes into it.
Yeah.
And the Nigerian dwarfs, they're small, they're compact, they don't eat a lot, their milk tastes good, like it just really works for us. So we can't make butter like I would like to, but I could easily buy farm milk and then make butter with it instead. Let's have somebody else do all the work for me. But
well, and honestly, I think that's the way to go, because especially because you just want to make butter.
Yeah,
you can't really make butter with goat's milk. The fat globules are just too separated and it doesn't work out. So you need that cow's milk. But I mean, there's a farm right down here where I used to get milk.
Yeah.
And it's for that kind of price just to make butter. I mean, heck yeah. That's the way to go.
Yeah. So, something to think about. You are going to get, if you do want that amount of milk, cow's probably the best bet for you. But I can just see most families just not needing.
Well, and I just feel like
the average family.
Cows are freaking huge.
The Jerseys aren't as big.
I mean, they're pretty freaking big still.
I mean, they're obviously, they're bigger.
I mean, compared to my little Nigerian.
Right. The Nigerians are like, they can fit on our lap right now. But
and so I just feel like my kids are always something else to think about when you have animals and if you have children. Are you perfectly fine with your kids climbing into that pen to go mess around with that cow, or is that cow going to trample them? And not necessarily because out of malice or any ill intention, but just because they're a huge, gigantic beast. And oh shit, I stepped on you. Didn't mean to. Sorry. And so I don't know. There's a lot of decisions to be made, I suppose, based on your lifestyle.
Yeah.
For sure.
So most cows though are nice.
No, I love cows, and honestly,
cows.
I really
usually
do
have good personalities.
Want one or two, but I'm just like, where would I breed it? No one. I don't know anyone who has a bull. I'd have to get a bull then you have another fucking cow to feed. I mean, it's just like
no, it would definitely happen down the line. If like we ever won the lottery or something. But as of now, we're sticking to Nigis.
You won the lottery. What are you gonna buy?
I'm buying a cow.
What? I would totally buy a cow if I won the lottery. That'd be one of the first things. It'd be cows and horses. It'd be all the animals. You couldn't stop me from buying animals. Like it would be like I'd be going like balls to the walls crazy.
Instead of buying, Shauna's like, instead of going and getting like a huge mansion and fancy cars, Shauna's like,
no.
Cows, more goats, definitely more dogs,
Horses.
No,
I would have all the things.
All the peacocks. We're doing it all.
I would have all of
everything.
it. Like we'd have a freaking menagerie. Be like Dr. Doolittle over here. Be like
Zebras,
Dr. Doolittle.
zebus.
It'd be so fun. So fun. I would just be like dancing everywhere, throwing flower petals around all my animals. They'd
flock to you.
Yeah, flock to
They'd
me.
love you.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Shauna's getting giddy all thinking about it.
It'd be so fun.
She's like, calm me down, bring me down.
Okay, dreams are different, okay? That's mine. Okay, so moving on from dairy, garden. So this is always a huge question, like how many plants do I need a plant?
How much space?
Do
you need for your garden? And again, depends on the size of your family.
It does. So like they say the average is 200. Is it 200 square feet per person?
Yeah.
200 square feet per person. I don't do like measurements like that. So
Hopefully you do. Even telling you guys that, I feel like a fucking hypocrite.
I know.
That is not how.
I don't know what that means. I do more like measurements. I know some of you aren't watching, but it's like this. You know? It's like my arm width space. What's that? What is
I don't
this?
know.
What's that?
I'm still stuck on
Arm span. What?
Yeah, arm span.
I would just never personally be like, get out my ruler and my measuring tape and let's figure out what 200 square feet is. It's weird. I know you would.
Oh my God. Okay.
Shauna's husband definitely would. He'd be like down to the freaking centimeter. That's how your brain works, though. My brain, no.
And it does come in handy because, like, sometimes you need that OCD person in your life to be like, whatever.
Yeah, heck
but,
yeah.
like, okay. So we have been putting in our garden beds,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Whenever Shauna does that long stare, like, yeah, you know what I'm about to say.
It is the most time-consuming, grueling thing I've ever done in my life.
And she hates it.
Like we're using cinder blocks, and like I understand that the ground has to be level. I get that.
She's like, but does it really?
No, I get it, but I just don't think it has to be that level.
That's what I mean. You
like,
get that has a level.
I get
but
that it
you're
has
not
to be
like, we don't need
basically level.
perfection.
But I don't think it has to be
Yeah.
like, does anything have to be perfect? Like, it'll just like, it's not the freaking, we're not building like the Eiffel Tower.
Well,
We're not building that.
Building planes,
we're not
right?
building Eiffel Towers or planes. We're just putting in a garden bed and like, every single block my husband would place, he'd have the level. And then the level would go this way. And if it was just barely that little bubble in the middle of it, it was just barely off. He's like, nope, take that off. We're going to get this as flat as possible. Every single, like we're building 15-foot like beds, like long by like 5 feet or something like that. And like, this is just one of them. Like, just one block. Like, oh my lord. I just could have.
I think you will thank him later.
Oh, God.
You know what I
I
mean?
was just
When
like,
the-
just
because-
put the fucking blocks down. Like,
I think because obviously you're stacking, right? So you're doing like 2 or 3 high. How many?
two.
Just 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously, and you're going to stack them like, so here's where 2 meet and then the other one goes right here.
no, we're just stacking them on top of each other because
Okay.
they're
Well,
so
irrelevant,
perfect
I
that they'll be
suppose.
fine.
Exactly. Irrelevant.
No,
Yes,
but you can lock them in place by just putting like dirt down there, which we're doing anyways, like into the little keyholes,
Yeah.
because we're gonna put the strawberry plants on the outside there.
Yeah.
So like they would be fine. They'd get locked into place.
I
It'd be
think you'll
fine.
appreciate his technique when your garden beds are all
I just
perfect
would never
and they're
like
not falling
when he was
over.
like, "This is what we're doing." I was like, okay, I'm like, all right. And then like we're doing it. I was like, "Are we? This is okay." And like even me telling him like, "I don't think it has to be that perfect." He's like, "It does. It does have to be that perfect." Like he was very committed to it being like ultimate perfection.
See, that's so funny. Your husband does commit to like ultra perfect, and you commit to like, like really weird. Exactly.
It's basically there,
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Opposites attract.
That's right. We are so opposite. So funny. Anyway, so getting back to gardens.
So we have kind of
We have a list
of, which is, I hate lists.
I hate lists.
So,
that's funny.
we are very much alike in that way. So we wrote out, like, for you guys, you're welcome, how many plants per person you're going to need. Again, like we've been saying throughout this whole entire fucking episode. This is going to be based on you and your family, and your needs. And for example, tomatoes. You average would need about 2 to 4 plants per person. Now, if your family are huge tomato eaters, or you're like, I need all these extra tomatoes because I'm going to can spaghetti sauce and I'm going to can tomato sauce, then you obviously need more than 2 to 4 plants per person. So all these are just averages based on, and also this is for the full year. So you need 2 to 4 tomato plants to feed one person all year long, which I think is very low in my opinion.
I think you had 4 plants per person, depending on, and
all
this again,
year?
Yeah, I mean,
there's no fucking way. Where did we get this list?
I don't know.
I'm concerned now.
Well,
I was just thinking about it. I'm like, 4 plants?
Well, like some plants are very high yielding. It just depends on the variety,
yes.
I guess.
Yes, that's very true.
And like,
I mean, I guess I mean, not this past year, but the year before, I got a ton of tomatoes off of several varieties. You know what I mean? Like per plant. So I guess that would work. Like Shauna said,
like
you have a high yield
four plants, and like you get like I don't even know how many tomatoes you get per plant, but it would seem like a lot per person. Like it's not like they're eating tomatoes like every day.
Freaking. I mean, we eat tomatoes every day.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
My husband is huge on tomatoes. We always have tomatoes in the fridge. In everything. I don't know. He's Mexican. Just tomatoes, corn tortillas, you know.
And beans is all he needs in his life.
That's all he needs.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's easy. So anyways, squash, you need 1 to 2 plants per person. These are all plants, not like just 1 to 2 squash per person, obviously. Cucumber.
All year, that's all you get.
2
Enjoy.
Squash. That's right. Cucumber, they were averaging 2 plants per person. And again, if you, like my kids eat a ton of cucumber.
Mine too. I was just going to say that. So like
I would definitely need probably like 4 per person.
Yeah.
Because and tomatoes, I would never do 2 to 4 plants per person. I mean, we already have more than that. So
I think the only, on this list, like the eggplant, the 2 to 3 plants per person, I think that would work. My eggplants, though, they give off like so many eggplants.
I got a ton of eggplants
I
last year.
only planted 4 last year, and I had
you.
way too much.
Yes.
I was like feeding it to my chickens. I was like, eh.
Honestly, I'm not even doing eggplant this year.
Why?
Because I rarely cook with it because I hate it.
You do?
I do not
I
like it.
I love eggplant.
No, it doesn't agree with my stomach, and I just don't like the consistency. Nothing about it brings me joy.
Oh yeah, then
and my kids are the same way, and my husband doesn't care. No, not
waste of space.
It is a waste of space. Carrots. So 48, that's very high per person. 48.
Well, that's like, when you plant a carrot, it's 1 carrot. It's not like, like a tomato where you're going to get a bunch of tomatoes from the plant. You're just going to get 1 carrot.
So obviously, but I was trying to think, like, do I eat 48 carrots all year? I mean, I think I actually eat a lot more than that. Like, I don't know. We're kind of big on carrots. Like, we get like the 5-pound, 10-pound bags.
Our diet is mainly plant-based, though. So this is
exactly
is skewed because
we're vegetarian, obviously, and
we eat a lot of
veggies. Being vegetarian.
Have you ever had carrot bacon?
No, but you said it was very good.
Oh God, it's so good, so good.
Yeah,
like it doesn't taste like bacon. Don't need it to. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like crunchy and sweet and delicious, and you can have it like a BLT.
Well, now you're committed to making me some.
Oh God, it's so good. Like, I just love it so much. I eat a lot of carrots.
We do too. I'm like, we go to the grocery store like once every probably week, and like I get a 5-pound bag of carrots, and between us and my girls' bunnies.
I was gonna say, well, we go through carrots like a freaking crazy people because of our guinea pigs. Yeah, like they just love them, and my daughter's like, we're out of carrots. I'm like, God damn it!
God damn it! Stop feeding your guinea pigs. They can.
I'm like, you go out and pick the kale.
Air. Oh my gosh, my girls are okay. You should see the ridiculous salads they make. They're taking my lettuce. It's mine. No one else really eats it. Like the kids.
Well, the bunnies eat it.
Stop. You know, it's like I'm like, girls. There's so much. Why? There's miner's lettuce out there.
Yep.
There is tons of mallow. There are tons of, I have so much parsley from last year still just growing rampant in our garden. Please go pick it and use that to make your bunny salads. Use it. And Daya's like, okay.
She's like, I don't want to go outside though.
No, and then
it's easy. This is in the fridge
I'll
already.
in the kitchen and there's the bunny's bowls and there's her whipping through my salad and I'm just like,
you know what I do now, because I had the same issue with River and her guinea pigs, is when I'm outside, I just, even because I'll tell her, I'm like, go out and pick a bunch of miner's lettuce. It's springtime. It's everywhere. Like, go pick grass and miner's lettuce for your guinea pigs.
yes.
And when I'm out there, I just pick a bunch and then I put it in a bag and I'm like, that's for your pigs. Do not take my lettuce.
I'm going to have to,
And we have a bunch of kale in the garden that grows everywhere. Like, if you plant kale, they say to plant however many plants per person. I don't even know what it was.
I think
but
it's 2 to 7 plants per
you
person. You
don't plant 7 plants per person per kale.
You will be very, very disappointed because it just takes over.
It takes over and it grows everywhere, and you're going to find it literally everywhere, which isn't bad because we do use it a lot.
It just comes back.
But
too.
yeah, it's a perennial. It's going to be there.
So
you'll be fine.
you'll be fine. Corn, they say 10 to 15 plants, which sounds excessive. I mean, how many plants is one? Like, it gives off more than one thing of corn. We're not talking about
I don't think that
carrots
sounds
here.
excessive.
Really?
Yeah.
10 to 15 plants per person.
Yeah.
No? It sounds good?
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't eat a ton of corn.
I
We're
hate
not-
corn.
Yeah, we're not corn. I don't mind corn on the cob. Corn in the can
My
is absolutely
kids
disgusting.
love corn on the
don't
cob.
open that. That's disgusting and weird.
My kids love corn on the cob.
My kids
they
do
eat it
too.
all summer long. They eat corn on the cob.
yeah. Thank you. Like summertime,
Like
at
the
pool,
barbecue?
Yes.
I hate it. I hate how it smells. I hate it. It's disgusting.
I enjoy it, but like I would never grow corn.
I want to grow
Seems
corn because
like
I was,
a huge pain in the ass.
if I had, I don't know where I would grow it right now because I was thinking about a couple spaces, but I want to grow a bunch just for chicken feed. My chickens love corn.
I know, but how many are you going to grow? You have to grow so many.
I know, but you can grow a lot really close to each other.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
suppose,
need it.
obviously.
I mean, they do
they grow
like
on top of each other.
yeah, they do like. I think you have to grow so many. I don't know a lot about corn, so I'm sorry, but because I don't grow it, but I think you have to grow a bunch for it to do well. Like, you can't just grow like
Yeah.
just a row. Like, you would need a few rows for it
Yeah.
to do well. I think. I don't know, but
I just wonder if my chickens would get to it if I put it in the medicinal garden because I don't have any space in my normal garden.
I wouldn't put it in your medicinal garden. I don't think that's a good spot for it
Yeah,
because it's
maybe I
gonna
won't.
shade a bunch. You already have a bunch of shade in there. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true.
Yeah,
Good
I
point.
would like you would need like to cordon off a little area that would just be like your corn field.
Yeah.
And it likes like flat, it likes sun.
Maybe I'll have Juan build me a little cornfield. He'd love that. He loves corn.
Oh yeah, see, be perfect for
Right
him.
up his alley. Okay, and we already talked to kale. Lettuce, you need 24 plants per person. So lettuce is something that I'm planting an abundance of because we go through so much of it. I was just talking about it. Like, my girls feed it to their rabbits. Like, it's going out of style. I eat like at least 2 salads a day.
I never feel like I plant enough lettuce.
I never feel like I do.
Yeah.
Never. And I was telling Mom this year, I was just talking to her about it, and I was like, we need to plant a ton of lettuce. Just a ton. I'm going to have 2 beds dedicated to lettuce. Like, that's it. It's going to be all lettuce.
Well, you could plant a lot in your medicinal garden too, because it doesn't
Won't my
need.
chickens eat it, though? I think they'll just tear it apart.
Yeah,
They're
would.
assholes.
Yeah, they are. But like
We'll say they can't go in
it doesn't need. Like, a lot of things need like a deeper, like if
Root
you are doing
system.
beds, yeah, deeper root system. The lettuce doesn't need that. Like lettuce and cabbage, like they're pretty good on it wherever.
Yeah.
So
I wish I could put it in there. Maybe I could just fence off a portion of it, though,
that's true.
and just be like, you ain't getting in there.
But I mean, you could always try it in there and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I always hate that. I hate that.
I hate that.
hate
See
it.
what happens.
Yeah.
It.
Try it and see what happens. It never ends well. That's what happens.
Yeah. I guess.
Onions, 12 to 20 per person. That seems like a lot too, but obviously just like
That's definitely not enough for my family.
yeah, ditto.
We eat
go
a
through
lot of
onion.
onions and garlic. Like, just because I cook a lot and everything, I said that earlier, like onions and garlic, like sauteed,
Yeah.
like for dinner, like whatever you're making, like it's golden. So
It's always gonna be better with onion.
I
and garlic.
use so much garlic. Like, I'm always shocked like how fast I go through garlic because we just eat so much of it. Like, we're good. Like, we're very healthy.
I mean, garlic is extremely healthy for you, though.
It is, but
Yeah.
it's just like crazy how fast we go through it because I'm always like, putting it in my food processor to.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, okay, there's another head of garlic gone. But I only planted 50 this year, and I felt like it was a lot at the time, but now I'm like, I definitely should have doubled that, if not tripled. This is not going to be enough.
Yeah, I agree. We go through a ton of garlic too. I'm always buying garlic.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be enough, but it's, I guess it's a good place to
start. Good learning lesson.
Yeah.
And that's honestly how gardening just is.
I grew even less last year, and so this year I was like, I'm growing this much, and I was like proud of myself, and now I'm like looking at it like, But
no longer proud of myself. Zucchini, they say 1 to 2 plants, and
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, at least for us, my kids really aren't really huge zucchini people. I am. I'll eat zucchini all the time, but
we like sautéed zucchini.
Yes,
so good.
So good. My kid, Crowley will eat it, but no one
River
else
loves it. Like she always wants zucchini and like zucchini bread.
Well, who doesn't like zucchini bread?
I know. Have you seen that meme? It's like it's that time of year to lock your cars and doors because you'll have like I'm totally fucking it up, but because your next door neighbor's gonna leave a zucchini on your like everywhere. I'd be like, thank you.
I know, and I feel like put all the zucchini. All the zucchini,
yeah. Somebody will eat it here. Animals, us.
My kids love, and that's honestly the only way Aiden, my oldest, will eat zucchini is in zucchini bread. He's still 19. He still is like, no, only in delicious zucchini bread. Sugar
has to have sugar in it. Zucchini bread is good though.
It is very, very good.
Spinach, you need 30 to 60 plants. That seems excessive.
Okay, so for me it doesn't, like, I would totally.
We eat a lot of spinach.
I eat a ton of spinach.
We eat a lot of
spinach. Me personally, but the rest of my family really doesn't. I do.
I don't know. Like just
and mom and dad do too, though. They eat a ton.
Like we all we buy a lot of spinach, so
yeah,
I guess that sounds good.
And you think about like
I never have
those boxes of organic spinach that we get. Yeah. Like how many plants did it take to fill that box?
Right. Well, like I don't know. I've never had the best of luck growing spinach.
So I had a really good season for spinach several years ago, probably before Legend was born, and then ever since then, like it just sucks.
I know it doesn't like being super hot.
No, and I feel like that's always
the downfall.
Just plummets.
I feel like everything just like every bug is like spinach. They just all are like.
Yeah, thank you. And it's like there's so many pests.
Yeah, that's like with anything like cauliflower, spinach, kale, even like kale, like but your kale just grows so well. Like even if it gets attacked by bugs, you're just like, eh.
It's like I'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're just like that's fine.
Yeah,
like you can eat that kale. Stay away from everything else.
I don't know. I feel like, and I feel like it's the heat definitely that does it.
Yeah, it's just harder to grow spinach than it is other things.
Yeah,
and I get like I'll grow a few, but I'm never.
It's just hard to keep alive and to keep
hard. That's hard to grow.
I guess
it's hard.
It's hard. We say so. So melons 1 to 2.
Plants, not melons.
Not melons.
They got 3 melons.
Watch it, people. Ice Age, such a good movie. I feel okay. So melons is another thing that needs like a ton of water, and I just like some years I can't even keep like fucking cucumber plants alive because.
What?
Well, Mom, if she's listening, it's normally her fault. I'll leave for like the day, and I'm like, oh my god, Mom, I'm gonna be, I don't have time to water the garden. Can you please go water the garden? And and Mom, and she's just like, water. Love you to death. But yeah, she's killed my cucumber plants last couple years.
Aw, who's good at growing watermelons? It's Amy.
Fucking Amy, like Jesus Christ, did you see her? What?
If you're listening, we don't like you.
Them? No, we love her to pieces. We love you. And she just like, it was incredible.
I know. We should have her on just to talk about all of her secrets of watermelons.
We should. Well, her secrets to gardening in general. Like, she's definitely has a super green thumb. Even her fucking houseplants.
I know. Her houseplants are all magnificent.
Like, she has that big, huge, like, tree thing in her house. I'm like, how long have you had this? Like, it's huge.
She's like, 6 months. And you're just like, what?
Well, and like just keeping it alive so long through so many kids. Like my kids always kill my inside plants.
It's like she has all those kids. Yeah, because they like pee in it or something.
No, they rip the leaves because those houseplants are so sensitive. You rip those leaves and they're like, I'm dying. And you're just like, please don't.
No, but she had so many watermelons last year. She kept like taking pictures and sending us.
And like her daughter,
and they're huge.
Finley, how old's Finley now? 9. So she was 8 last year, or is she 8 this year?
No,
Whatever.
she's 8.
Okay. So, anyways, young. She's
Nuance,
young,
Nuance.
And so I'm just saying, like, she's a little girl holding this gigantic watermelon, like she can barely hold it, and you're like, so jealous. How do you grow that? And my little watermelon, like I was like, oh, it's growing.
I know, that was me.
It's growing, and then all of a sudden, I was like, meh.
No, I was always so excited last year. Like this is every year, but last year specifically, I had like a watermelon, and it was like like a little bit bigger than a softball, and I was just like, oh, gosh, I'm doing it this year. We're getting a watermelon out of the garden. It's gonna be great. And then I go back in the next day, and like I was all like, oh, look at our little watermelon, and I like lifted it up because it looked like it had stunk into the ground, and it didn't. It just got
something had eaten
it, like half of it, and I was just like, and so defeated.
I mean, Amy has this huge, it's just a hill, like a huge hill of watermelon.
They do like hills.
They do like hills.
They do. They
apparently.
But yeah, she's very good at it. So if you're good at growing watermelon, let us know how you do it, because everything either eats ours or it just dies because it hates us.
Well,
I feel like I give it enough water.
I gave mine plenty of water.
I think the gophers always just take mine out before it can ever get to a point where we could harvest them, obviously, but I don't think it's ever like a water issue.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just need a whole space just for watermelon. And maybe that is her now that I'm thinking of it. That's probably hill? Amy's. Well, not just the hill, but that's all that's on that hill is watermelon. You know what I mean? They're not competing for anything. You don't have to worry about overwatering something else because you're giving your watermelons enough water. So I think that is probably the key. Like, she just has this fucking gigantic hill dedicated to all watermelon, and she grows like 50 fucking plants.
I think she grows pumpkins there too.
Well, pumpkins are a different season, though.
Yeah, they are, but they're not. I mean, you have to still grow them. They have to still be growing while the watermelons are there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love pumpkins. I love growing pumpkins. I don't know why. Like, it's not like I'm like eating a bunch of pumpkins. I just love having them. Like, when they're like done, I'm like, I want to hold you. Like, I love
like a baby.
You're like a baby. I love like all different pumpkin varieties. Like, I always save the seeds from like previous years, and I want like a huge area to grow like so many pumpkins. Like, when we finally get this deer fence, like, I'm growing pumpkins everywhere. Like, we're gonna be like a pumpkin farm.
That'd be pretty cute though, out in your front field out there.
It would just be so fun.
All pumpkin.
I want to do that hill over here on the side of the house. I want to grow like pumpkins there, but we couldn't like eat them because like our leach field is over there, so it's gross.
Yeah.
So
that would not be good.
Yeah, we couldn't eat them. I couldn't even like give it to the chickens. So I was just like, I have to grow something that nobody likes over there.
Or maybe you could grow your neighbor's favorite veggie and give it to him. Shauna has this ongoing feud with her neighbor across the street. Basically, he's just an asshole. And yeah, you could totally do that. Be like, you know what? Let's make amends. What is your favorite vegetable ever? I'm going to grow it just for you.
Just for you on this hill. You can look at it every day.
And then I'm going to pick it and I'm going to eat it. You can eat it. It's going to be
all
great.
For you. We just had another altercation with him the other day. It wasn't like
no shit.
It wasn't like a horrible one, but it was, he comes over and like, God, and he's like, excuse me, like from our fence line. Can I talk to you? And like I was like, yeah, hold on. And I automatically just went and got my husband honest because like he's
been like super aggressive in the past. And
and I just didn't want to deal with it. And I know like my husband like has a way with people where he's very intimidating. Like people will just be scared of him. And like he doesn't like, you know how like you hold back because like you don't want to be like.
Honest has no problem.
Honest has like, no problem. Like he is like literally like the first thing Scott said was like, you sure do have a lot of chickens. And my husband's response was, yeah, that's none of your fucking business.
Right to the point.
Right to the point. And he's like, it's not. And he's like, no, it's fucking not. And so he has like no problem.
So what was his problem? He wanted to tell you have a lot of chickens?
No, he wanted to. I mean, he's complained about every single thing we've had, like any animal we've had, our goats.
Water to drain on.
Yeah, our goats. Yeah, are too loud. Our bees are on his plants.
Your bees?
Our bees. Our
Okay.
chickens make too much noise. Our kids, our dog barks too loud, like everything, right? And he is, yeah, anyways, whatever, nuance. But he basically came over because the water, when it was storming, it basically would collect on his driveway. And if our storm drain area or the culvert wasn't cleared out, it would like collect on his driveway. So he was like, you guys need to be clearing that out like every time it rains. And I was just like, I don't see how shit coming from up the hill is my problem.
Seriously, it's not like it's coming all directly from your property. Like, what the?
None of it's coming from our property. It's all from uphill because yeah, he wants the water to go into our field instead of going across his driveway, basically. Which, whatever. So
I cannot even imagine going up to someone and use. That's like the topic I want that water to drain onto your field and not in my driveway. Like, it's just something I would just never. It wouldn't even cross my mind.
Well, and he's brought it up before, and I was like, yeah, because like you can clear it out from that side. It's not like I was like, yeah, you can clear it out whenever you want. Like, go for it. You do
knock
you.
yourself out.
So it's like he can just take a little shovel and clear it out. That's what we would have, or ultimately Honest did do that because he was like, am I being too much of an asshole? And I was like, I don't want to like have a war with somebody that's that close.
No, yeah,
of a neighbor, it's just like it's never worth it. Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, just be like, yeah, we're gonna do this, but try not to be a dick.
Stop.
Sorry. Anyways, it was
yeah,
super.
Well, apparently he has a very hard time with that though.
Yeah.
Apparently just his natural just demeanor.
State of being.
Like, the fish and like.
Which is weird because
the
he has
fish
like a bonsai
in Home Depot,
nursery. You think he would be like.
And Finding Nemo. Why did I say Home Depot? That was so weird. And the fish in Finding Nemo, and he's like, I'm obnoxious. Like Scott's would be, I'm a dick. Like that's what he would be. Like,
yes.
Why? Why are you such a jerk? Like, what is wrong in your life? I know. Thank you. He has like a bonsai nursery, and you're like, aren't you like at peace with your plants? Or aren't you like
aren't you
fucking,
meditating
like,
or something?
Seriously, like, what are you doing over there?
Yeah,
Is growing bonsai plants that fucking stressful? Well, maybe that is a life change, right? Like, why is it our problem? Like, so weird.
Yeah, that's like neighbor issues, right? That is like the one thing I always say if like people are like buying property and stuff like that, or if you're just getting into like homesteading, like if I could go, I love our house. I love our property. We have really nice property. Most of our neighbors are totally fine. We have great neighbors behind us, but like if you don't want to deal with that, just like, the more land you have and the more space you can put between you and the less
to deal with any kind of
because even
nasty
you
neighbor.
have freaking.
So we've been fine. So we have been living there for over 25 years. It's a fucking long time, right? Okay. So we've been fine. We have the house right next to us has traded hands a couple of times.
And everybody's like 10-acre plots. So it's not like right next.
10 acres. We do, but the guy right next to us, and his wife, they have no kids and no animals. And then there's us with like a menagerie of animals and just like a bajillion kids. And there's so many people on the property, and it's just always so loud. And they're always so sweet, and so nice. And we're nice to them. They're nice to us. And they're just really great people. And then the other people on the other side, they're kind of wacky, but they keep to themselves. And so we don't really, no one bothers each other, right? You're just like, well, you're weird. Okay, don't talk to us. It's just like that kind of thing. But then all of a sudden,
I wonder if any of your neighbors listen to our podcast. They'd be like, are we the wacky ones?
You'll never know. And then the house right in front of us, that
Stop
was
being
just
so specific.
Sorry, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And they super helpful, and we give them eggs, and they're, what I mean? Like they're just great people, and I appreciate that. Like, let's be friends. Like, why not? And so, but then like, I don't know how many years this gal has been there, and she is fucking awful.
She lives like down the road,
like way down the road. Like we don't share a fence line with this lady, which is makes it even weirder. Like, why are you like picking on us? And here's the thing: when you moved in, when you went to view your new house, you passed by our house. I know you did. You saw all the dogs. You saw all the kids. Saw all the animals. You saw our janky setup. Okay, you saw it all. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Why do you think all of a sudden you get to have an opinion? We have been here forever. You are the newcomer. I don't have any problem with you. I mean, I think you look like a stuck-up Karen, but like, whatever. Like, you do you. And she's constantly yelling at our dogs. The other day, she has the audacity. She's driving by She rolls her window down because the dogs are barking at her car because that's their job. And she rolls her window down and she's yelling at them. And then she even reverses more to keep yelling at them like a psychopath.
Why?
So,
does it bother? You're in your car.
We do.
Just keep driving.
We're going to put hot wire on the top of that fucking fence.
Oh, because
and that is the last time she's going to touch that fence.
Because she comes over. So they have like the livestock guardian dogs, and these are huge dogs. Like you don't want to mess with them. And so their job is to protect their property. And anybody that they don't know, they automatically think is a threat, right? So this lady, for whatever reason, when she walks by with her little dog, she comes over and will lean against the fence to antagonize their large LGDs.
And she's literally like has her hands
and she arms
on the fence, and she's leaning over and she's yelling at him and shaking her finger at him. Okay, I don't know what you think you're doing. He doesn't speak English. He doesn't know what you're saying. He just sees you as a threat, and that's why he's losing his shit. If you just kept walking like a sane person, he would just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe if you, I don't know, threw him a dog bone every once in a while.
Or just been like, it's okay. Like,
okay, when I walk past someone's fence line and there's a dog barking at me, I'm like, I'm sorry, it's okay, good boy, sorry, we're getting out of your way. That is my interaction with that dog. I would never
I have never known of a dog not to bark at their fence line either.
Thank you, Shauna.
I've never walked by somebody's fence line that has a dog running their property, and that dog's, because every dog is like, this is my territory, and they're doing their job. So like, it's just weird when people get irritated by the dogs being out on their property.
LGDs or not. It's like,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
This is mine, and you are almost touching mine. So I'm going to bark at you.
Yeah,
stay away. To my people that you might be coming onto the property. And it's like, I just, oh my gosh. I'm going to put hot wire on that fence.
You should get that on video.
And I want to put Dea out there with her phone and get it on camera. Yeah. And then I'm going to post it on YouTube. Be like, this is what happens when you touch your neighbor's fences. This is what happens when you yell at a random dog.
She's like unhinged.
Totally unhinged, like a psychopath.
Yeah, so that's still. I know we kind of got off on a tangent, but that's like homesteading logistics when you buy your property.
Well, but unfortunately, it doesn't even matter sometimes. Like I said,
yeah, like she lives like way down the road.
She just moved in a couple years ago, and she thinks she has some like I don't even know what. Like it's so bizarre. So. Unfortunately,
I just can't imagine being in my car and driving and hearing a dog bark and rolling down my window to yell at them. I wouldn't.
Like you're a special kind of like bitch. You're a special kind. Like that is like, insane.
It's crazy to me. Like
just leave him alone.
And
just leave him alone. Just go about your day.
It's okay.
You should go be happy
like
someplace.
Again,
okay?
like go like meditate and chill.
Meditate, yeah. Or
like,
I don't
know. Do you have bonsai trees too? Like,
yeah.
Is this the problem?
Is this a trend?
Like
crazy.
Anyways, I think that's it, right? We're good?
Yeah.
We've been rambling for a while now.
Yeah. Well, no, it was all good ramblings,
good
just
ramblings.
Homestead Logistics and what you
asshole neighbors.
Yeah,
it's
that's
fun.
right. Yeah.
It's fun, good times.
I feel like most people do have them, unfortunately.
Everybody, yeah. Like we always say, there's always an asshole to ruin every party. So yes, everybody has at least one asshole neighbor. We have pretty good neighbors except for that one too.
Ditto. No, everyone is great except for that one lady way down the street.
Yeah. But
well, if you guys have any kind of questions or comments, we love to have episode topic suggestions. So reach out to us through our email at ourkindofhomesteading@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us through Facebook. You can get a hold of us through Instagram. And
leave review.
Shauna reads notes very well. I love how you say it. Like she's like reading it like it's the first time reading English something. If you could leave a review, that helps us so much just to reach out to more people, helps the algorithm out and everything else. And it's super simple and easy to leave a review. I'll drop the link in the show notes under the podcast. And you'll just have to click it and you'll be sent right to where you can leave a review. So super easy. And another thing we would love if you guys could share on any platform, whether you just want to share the RSS feed, you can share it through Facebook, you can share it through Instagram, whatever you want to do. We would absolutely love that and appreciate that.
Yes, but other than that, I think
Sean's just saying, they're like, okay, are you done?
She's like, but yes, thank you all for listening, watching, whatever you're doing, both.
Yes.
And we will
talk to you all later.
To you all next time. Goodbye.